Welcome back to the Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Evie and
Hello.
Nicole.
Hello.
And we were on a previously on from season 6,
The really
Allegiance.
hot Tok'ra.
Jeez.
Yeah, we
Sorry,
are.
he's gorgeous. Every time I see him, I just love him. I love his
He's
face.
very cute. So, this episode apparently takes place about 1 month after the events of Evolution Part 2.
There you go.
And with the Alpha site,
Yes.
Peter DeLuise explains that they established this planet we're about to be on as the new Alpha site to create mystery around how it was compromised. And as he put it, if they'd used the original site, the answer would be too obvious because, Jonas had that spiky thing in his head,
Yep.
and of course Anubis knows about it. So
Right.
instead of using a new location that gets attacked, they created an actual mystery to solve. And this was written and directed by Peter DeLuise, or as my notes say, written by Peter DeLuise.
I really like this episode, but I'm really not looking forward to the outcome. I think that I don't know why the writers decided to go this way with the Tok'ra, and I would love to know more about the
I have an
decision
answer to
making.
that. I have an answer to
Amazing.
that.
Good.
Are those
'Cause I got
crystals
beef.
in the refrigerator?
Kind of look like it.
It looks like a refrigerator. Probably not. And I'm guessing this is
Probably
the
just a display
same
cabinet with
metal building as was in
with the little
Prodigy.
bugs. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
would make sense. It'll
The
be just be like
drop
made by the
bugs that
military, and they just
go around.
churn them out.
We sold that at PropWorks.
The little device.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's designed for the modified TERs, or as I like to call them,
Yeah.
TERs.
Turds.
Turds.
The good old
You're
TERs.
such
Right.
a tur.
Maybe. I love this. Have you not had your morning
Aw.
coffee? Oh,
Oh boy.
Oh no, he gave up coffee for his symbiote.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that would really
So
piss me
cute.
off.
so cute.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I'd be overpowering that symbiote.
That's so sweet.
So,
Ooh.
Jacob's comment about not talking with Sam enough is kind of clever foreshadowing for this, goodbye that we have later on. So it's one of those like subtle parent-child moments that makes their relationship feel really real. And critics of this episode especially loved Carmen.
Yeah.
And I think the Starburst magazine reviewer mentioned that this was one of Jacob's best materials in ages.
Yeah.
Carmen doesn't get enough love.
How
Carmen
dare
needs
people
all
not
the
love him
love.
enough?
Yeah.
I'm gutted that he's gone.
Yes, me too. So this episode establishes the existence of the beta site, as mentioned.
Yep.
And in previous episodes, There But for the Grace of God and Point of View, the term beta site was used by alternate reality versions of Stargate Command.
Yep.
And talking about the title being translated into different languages, it's actually the French that gave this one away. Their title translated to The End of the Union.
The End of the Union. Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Damn.
So it gives away that ending.
That is. I love that it's like the Germans are usually the ones that give it away, and then for once it was France. Like that's.
I know.
Brilliant.
I know. I was also surprised.
Honestly, that's that's great.
I wish I knew that last week when I had the French on, but yes.
Yeah.
Because they were
yes,
very
did.
proud of themselves about how the French translations for episodes were either adding something or at least not taking away from information in the show. But I think the End of the Union
this was
qualifies.
doing both.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was doing both. It was adding and taking away.
I'm actually really excited to watch this. I don't know how like I don't know what to say. I'm it's such an enjoyable episode. I kind of want to just sit here and just stare at it. The last time I watched this was I was going through a baking spree of just baking loads of things, and I put season 7 on just because I wanted to, and I watched it from beginning till end just because I felt like it because I hadn't seen it in a while. And while I was baking like cakes and cinnamon buns and cookies, I gained a lot of weight that week.
Jeez.
Worth it. I'm excited. Oh, I love when it's like on its side, that whole I love when they have to find a solution to getting out of a pickle when the gate's on its side. It always makes me laugh.
So it's underneath,
Uh,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, they
yes,
take a
it's
ladder with them, don't they,
underneath.
to climb
They
out?
So
do.
basically, the next time they dial in, this map is going to be atomized.
Yes.
That is probably a good way of looking at it because I put it down as being kind of like a bit of a goof because, if the unstable vortex of the, knocked over Stargate dug a foxhole, then the edges of the crater would be sort of like molten from their contact, but yet there's still stones there. And also, where is the Malp? But that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I don't think
It
that
would have
I don't think that
disappeared.
it's molten. I think that it's just deleted. You think that it's carterized?
Yeah, I kind of
I
thought
think
it
the
would
main
be.
reason that I would actually kind of think that as well is only because we saw it happen with 100 days.
Mm.
But I guess because
Yeah,
it was a meteor and it was on fire and there was a whole lot of things
maybe.
happening, maybe it was just, yeah,
I never
just our
buy the
assumption.
depth of that pit with.
Neither do I. It looks so
With
shallow.
yeah. I mean, come on here. We know that thing is at least the length of the ramp.
Yeah.
So
So
there was kind of a bit of a production goof, sort of, because the Stargate is facing downwards, but we saw the event horizon from the top, so it would look different from that side, would it not?
the event horizon. You mean the puddle effect itself?
Yeah, we saw it from behind, and it still
I
looked
think,
like it was the front, even though the Stargate's facing
doesn't it
downwards.
always look like the same either side, though?
The
I don't
puddle
know.
effect itself, unless they're deliberately trying to let people see what's on the other side, like in Children of the Gods when O'Neill's walking up with the
Mm,
Kleenex box.
Yeah.
mm,
Well, it's pretty straightforward either side.
That
mm.
you can clearly see that hole is so shallow, by the way. Like you
Exactly.
can
Yeah,
see
yeah, it
it's just
is.
like, oh,
But in Vancouver, they're really weird about digging, which is the same thing that
Ah,
happened in
fair.
Doppelganger
yeah.
when Ronan was being buried. It's like, this is the best you got? Do a
Ah.
visual effect then or
So
something.
this this episode was inspired by the logging that was actually taking place at Mount Seymour Provincial Park, which was previously the Alpha Site filming location for Allegiance. So Peter DeLuise suggested that they do an episode where the thing is blowing up and all the trees have gone down. So he apparently wrote the episode very fast to take advantage of this filming
Wow. So
location.
this was a logging
Uh,
site.
That's
yeah, it was a
awesome.
logging site.
I did not know that. Uh-oh.
Oh, so eerie, so creepy. I love that.
Coal body
And
parts.
Yeah.
yeah,
They
and
finally got an explosion big enough to kill him.
yeah, Joe Malozzi also kind of pointed out a bit of a fun inconsistency. So the Alpha site after the self-destruct shouldn't be one giant crater, not just a. It should have been one giant crater, not just a bunch of small fires. So he kind of acknowledged that creating a massive crater would have been very expensive
Yeah.
and for what was essentially just a background setting. So, and
Yep.
Mm.
obviously you said that Vancouver has an issue with digging, so that makes
I can
sense.
imagine they have issues with giant holes.
You can
So,
only do
Yeah.
so much.
Yes.
yeah. Oh, this guy. Oh, he's so tasty.
Jeez.
I love him. Every time I see him, isn't he also Thor in
Yes.
Thor's
So
hammer?
it's Mark Gibbon.
Mark
Yeah.
Gibbon
So
did play the
he was
holographic Thor.
Yeah.
correct, human image of Thor in Thor's hammer and
Yeah.
Thor's chariot, I think.
He is just so fine, like I love his beard, I love his hair, I love his jawline. It's fantastic. There are some very attractive men in the show at the moment. Damn.
You know, they hire actors.
I know, it's great. Like they please my eyes. So ah,
You and
So,
your female gaze.
I can't help it.
Female
The
gaze.
beautiful man.
So Hammond mentions the newly created SG-21, so that obviously confirms the
Yeah.
existence of 18, 19, and 20 as well.
I apologize for the mowing outside of my door. Everyone
Can't hear the mowing. You are good.
You can't. No, you can't because what you're hearing from me is compressed. They can.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Ah,
Mm.
I'm really glad that Jacob's injuries is a log over his leg and nothing
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
Oh no, one little cut.
Ooh.
Ouchie, ouchie.
I love that
Managed
Sam
to
has the
save the
good
guy.
chip on her, while
She
Jacob
does.
had the not so great one. So it's
Yeah.
like, well,
Are we gonna have a flashback here pretty quickly?
yes, I think we are.
Yes. Mm.
Your baby girl.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gekko said they cannot hear the mowing, so you are good, David.
Oh, perfect. I appreciate it.
I just have so many feelings on this episode. Oh, look, he's carrying that woman. Oh, I wish he would carry me like that.
Is it a Tok'ra woman?
I think she might be an SGC woman. I couldn't. I was not. I was
Interesting
looking at him.
outfit,
I'm not
though.
gonna lie. Yeah. This episode is just so. I feel so sad about this episode that I'm gonna find it really hard to talk over some of the scenes here. I'm just feeling quite weirdly emotional. You know,
Why?
I'm a bit devastated.
The
I'm
end
feeling a
of the
bit devastated.
alliance.
You know, we're about to say goodbye to the Tok'ra, basically. So
Oh, yeah. It is a loss. For
yeah,
sure.
I feel like I'm already in mourning. You know, it's weird.
There's a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's only semi-effective in its current configuration.
Yeah.
It'll be a few moments to get the coordinates from the Navicomputer.
I like this episode because Sam is just so badass during the episode. You know, the
Oh,
way that
yeah.
she's just gone like full survival, and she's just such a force. Yeah.
More than you used in the pit in Evolution Part 1.
I was gonna say, yeah, that explosion was not big enough, but
Yeah.
the other one was.
Yeah.
Hey, silent. It's been a while.
I think they go after, they go and get, I forget what kind of weapon they fire at him, but even that's not enough.
No, it's not.
Doesn't she like manage to get a little missile, a mini little missile thingy, and that's not enough?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is Nels Lenison.
Nels
Trying to say the name.
Lenison? Okay.
Lenison playing Major Green. So this is his only SG1 role, but he actually does return to the franchise as Captain Holland in the Atlanta season
interesting.
3 episode Phantoms.
Very Swedish name he's got, so.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So many pretty people this episode.
Jeez.
I feel like you say that every episode.
Nah, but like everyone's really pretty this episode. I like this. I actually think this is really cool. They were doing like a full investigation here, because
Yeah.
it's like these people are just trying to survive, and they've like saved each other's lives and gotten out of that situation.
Standard procedure
Like,
when a command is lost.
yeah,
Yeah,
and so unfortunately, it's weird the way he was like, "Oh yeah, am I like in trouble?" It sucks that you can go through something so difficult and lose so many people and try and save as many people as you can, and you're still questioned about your loyalties. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's standard procedure. It's just sad.
Well, in this situation, that it
He's not
has to
getting
be because,
interrogated, though.
well, they need to figure out who revealed the coordinates.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I don't think they truly find out in the end.
I don't think that they do. And I think that that's
No.
one of the reasons that the Tok'ra and the Jaffa walk, because they don't like how they're being treated. Because if it isn't our guys, it's one of them. And if it's one of
Yeah.
them, we can't figure out who, they leave.
Mm-hmm.
So
James Hoare from The Companion spoke about how Jack's sort of silence about Sam's fate throughout this episode speaks volumes about his fear, especially evident in this scene here when he just responds with a single word, yeah, when Tilk suggests that the tracks might be Sam's.
Yeah. I really want. I was
we'll
thinking
jump
about
off
them
that
looking at the.
bridge.
Yeah, I was thinking about the footprint, and when like when they were on Keb with Braytak, and Braytak was like, "Oh yeah, her arms were bound, and then this, and then no, her arms weren't bound, and then this and this and this," and like able to
that's
figure out all the
Yeah, you can
details.
tell. Yeah.
And I was just thinking about like I'd love to see that energy
It's
again
a
from Teal'c and
CSI
Jack.
Braytak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This
really
is a
like seeing
flashback in a
Jacob
second.
and Daniel together. I think they've got great chemistry as well. I think Jacob's got chemistry with everyone. I feel
He
like he didn't
does.
get enough scenes with Teal'c though.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, here we go. Flashback. And both this guy and the doors get holes in them.
Yes, they
That
do.
guy is also very adorable, but more adorable. He seems young.
Just looks like he's just sort of new.
Yeah,
and
he's just a new
He's
cadet.
very young, yeah.
Doing his best.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to get shot. He's about to become Swiss cheese.
Right
Poor
through
guy.
him, and somehow
you,
didn't hit Sam and yeah.
I will say there's one
conveniently.
thing that annoys me. Those doors, right? Not consistent with how his hands are up when he's shooting. You know, the 4 shots on each door are below the window, and that's not where his arms were. His arms would have been like part way up in the glass. So not consistent height for his shooting arms.
His shooting arms.
Yeah, that right there. I'm called Goofgate. That's a Goofgate.
So I was going to mention about the prototype weapon being like the modified TER, which David mentioned at the start. So it was obviously going back, it was originally designed to make the Ritu disappear. And I think the art director, James Robbins, designed the piece that attached to the existing TER gun with a new bit that lights up when snapped onto the weapon. And I think, according to James, the weapon technology works by targeting the reanimation device inside of each of the super soldiers.
That's really
The
cool.
weapon was designed to emit an energy signature that counteracts the signal from the box that keeps the drone's flesh animated. And obviously, the weapon will become important in later encounters with the Anubis forces.
Candy Mitch said as he was farther back behind the door. I think his height would have it's still the height of the door.
Right.
I don't care how far away you are. So unless he was crouching, you know, then that's the only excuse I'll give him.
I'm sorry, guys, about the dog barking. So
I can't hear it.
You can't hear.
They might
Riley?
be able to hear it on the stream.
He's barking outside. So.
Oh, buddy. Is he barking at the lawnmower?
No, there's other dogs in the neighborhood that are
Oh.
outside right now. So we've got a Twilight bark going on here.
Mark Gibbons' character is apparently named Mazel, and his name's not mentioned in the dialogue, but the character was named after the first assistant director, Bill Mazel.
Yeah.
Or Mizell.
I think it's Mizell, yeah.
Yeah.
Mazel, yeah.
He's just got such a thick voice. It's a
He
juicy
does,
voice.
yeah.
It's very thick. I love it.
How far can you push an ally before the ally gives up on you?
Yeah.
You find out in an episode called Death Knell.
Yeah. It's such a shame because the Jafar just want like that extra bit of help, and the Tok'ra are like refusing to collaborate and help them with that. But to be fair, the Jafar are like kind of overstepping a bit by like making the demand of like, oh, you know, do this.
I think when you like the Tok'ra make this point themselves, they've been fighting this war for a long time
Against the Jaffa.
Yeah, against the Jaffa, exactly.
And it's that whole thing of like whenever they die at the end of the Jafar's staff weapon. Yeah.
Exactly. And there's no one to replace a Tok'ra when they die. You know, that they've lost their queen, so they're not making any new Tok'ra. And I think the other point is that they've been fighting it for so long that they're kind of just sort of become reliant on themselves.
Yeah.
And they're
finding
it hard to adjust to letting any other people in to assist them. And also the Jafar, on the other hand, that they're so new to freedom, and they haven't figured out how that works for them. You know, there's not a lot of leaders. You know, they've got to learn
how to do it from
that
square
themselves.
One. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, it would be hard to collaborate when you've never really run your own campaign.
It must be quite annoying. Yeah, he's just alive. It must be quite annoying to like have all the new kids on the block come in and just start tearing down all the work you were doing. Just being like,
it would be awfully it would be awfully frustrating to continue your fight. I swear they film him at a lower frame rate. Or a higher frame rate rather.
Slower. Yeah. So Amanda said that she had a pretty wild time filming this episode because she was bouncing between Grace, Chimera, and Death Knell. So she
Wow.
mentioned how bizarre it was to shoot all of her Death Knell scenes in just 2
Exhaustion
days,
running, exhaustion, no
around
sleep, and then
all bloody and
sexy time.
filthy while switching between like 3 different storylines.
Yeah.
And I think what's sort of fascinating about this episode is how it flips the script on Sam. Like, instead of solving problems with science and gadgets, we're seeing her military training take center stage.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
why I love
And
it. Yeah.
James Hall from The Companion pointed out that her minimal dialogue isn't just a production necessity, but it actually makes the storytelling more powerful.
Doesn't have
And we're
time to talk.
witnessing
Yeah.
Sam's is it SEER training, the survival, evasion, resistance, and escape. Something that we've probably heard mentioned but rarely seen in action. And like, despite her injuries, her most impressive feat isn't physical endurance, but maintaining this mental clarity under such extreme stress.
Yeah.
And I think I was reading through Reddit, and one person said that this episode continues a concerning pattern for Sam. Like, here she is once again on her own with a head wound, and at this
Yeah.
rate, the show's resident genius might start losing IQ points from these
Literally,
injuries.
yeah. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
But Olokun's not dead.
Yeah.
I think he lives
No.
through into season 8.
I think he does. Yeah.
I think he's I think he gets killed along with Bastet, if I'm not mistaken. I may be misremembering though.
Oh.
I know that Morgan lives. She capitulates, so she just surrenders.
About to make a very inappropriate joke about her surrendering. Because why would she surrender when she's wearing that kind of outfit?
Well, that outfit doesn't help her with tactical strategy.
No, it doesn't.
Looks great though.
Oh yeah, she's banger.
Yeah.
I actually really love how they've set this up.
Me too. It's so
Because you just
you
really
realize
think that it's Sam.
yeah, you
Yeah,
realize quickly
exactly.
that it's
Out
not, but
there.
for a while you are a bit like, whoa, you know. I remember when I
It's
first
a good
watched this and
psych out.
I was like, is Jack gonna come in and save her? And then I was like, oh shoot, it's not her.
Oh, what I was thinking when I was watching this yesterday, I would have thought that they'd make the warriors have some sort of like heat-seeking kind of like technology inside their helmet, but
Yeah,
he obviously doesn't.
just pure vibes.
Stargate doesn't do
Yeah.
this a lot. This is very unique.
Yeah. I also really love the way the music kind of goes a bit like happy for a second, because like Sam's finally taken a break and gotten a moment to kind of sit down and rest for a second, taking a little mini nap. Like, I think right here the music kind of shifts a little bit. No, here.
Oh, a little bit, yeah. It's like a little bit more optimistic.
Yeah.
There's like that flute and it's a bit lighter.
Exactly. I always, for some reason, I
Yeah.
always remember that little moment of relief where she was able to get that little power nap, that little moment, and then she goes back at it again. So
Sebastian
this is-
Stan.
Yes, Sebastian Spence. Is that his name?
Spence, excuse
Sebastian
me.
I was going to say Stan. Is this
so
Bucky?
Mixing him up with
he-
someone else.
Winter
yeah.
Soldier?
Yeah, sorry.
So he guest stars as Dalek, the Tok'ra.
He's also really
and
pretty.
I think he was best known for his role in Battlestar Galactica. It was like Lieutenant Knell.
No.
And the origin of Dalek actually has a really interesting backstory. So this character was named after Derek Lowe, a video producer who worked on the show. And according to the episode commentary, the name Dalek was inspired by Derek's former boss, who consistently mispronounced his name as Dalek.
So Sebastian Spence was the lead in a TV series called First Wave.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So I hate his character in Battlestar. He's on the side of, you know, all the terrible people, and he's one of the guys on Pegasus that was just the worst. But one of the first lines I think I heard him utter, the one I always remember, is when he called the Blackbird the homemade tin can.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shut up, Sunshine, which is his call sign, by the
Yeah,
way.
it's
Sunshine.
Narcho is his call sign. So.
Is it? I got it wrong. It is Nacho.
I've written it
Not
down as
Nacho, Narcho.
Yeah.
Narcho. It's Narch.
Yeah, I'm not saying Nacho, I'm saying Narcho, but like I'm pronouncing it the British way.
Of course you
So,
are.
can't help it. Yeah, he's pretty, but I hate him.
I was going to make a silly joke, because the name came from like a mispronunciation, and I think in that case, my Tok'ra name would be Ebor. I used to like regularly visit this cafe near my own old work, and you had to
Yep.
give your name for your order. And I think Yvonne was just too complicated, so
Oh,
they
they
used to
would
call
write
me
down
Ebor.
Ebor.
I say Nick because they can't say, for some reason, if I put Nicole, I get Nicola, Nikki, or Nicole. And I'm like, okay, right.
I
don't know
think they
what's so
do that
hard.
on purpose, don't
Seriously?
they?
Maybe.
Starbucks
I
does it
think
often.
sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes they do.
They take
Yeah.
liberties, it's a you find ways to create your own low-level ecstasy. So,
Yeah.
just handing over the coffee, looking at the customer when they see the name written on there and going, ha!
By the way, there's so many people who really struggle with my last name, Rodriguez. They can't say it. Every time I had
Really?
I
Rodriguez
had
isn't too hard.
no, I know, I don't understand. I had lessons with a teacher that I had briefly at my work, and she'd always say during recorded segments of our lessons, she'd go, Nicole Rodriguez Galdo. She couldn't say it right.
Interesting.
She
It's
just
not that
it was always
hard.
Maybe she thought
not.
the end of Rodriguez is like silent or something.
I know, I don't know. But there's sometimes it'll be like Nicole Rodriguez, and I'm like, what? So yeah, people are
I
weird.
don't know, just one of those words that she struggles with. Like,
Yeah.
Adam can't say croissant.
can't?
It's sort of like that. No.
What does he say?
I don't know, just some sort of like
Croissant?
croissant.
Croissant? The next time I have him on, I'm going to make him try and say it.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Here we
So,
go.
Oh, this is where they
scene
withheld
kind
it,
of-
didn't they, from Jacob?
Yep.
They did,
Yeah.
yeah, they did. They went behind his back. So
Yeah.
it's sort of a rare moment where we see Salmak or Jacob directly confront another Tok'ra.
Yeah.
And I was reading through some blogs yesterday, and there's a blog by someone called Nerdgate Hobbit, and they suggested that this scene raises fascinating questions about Salmak. Like perhaps Salmak sees their partnership, like their balanced partnership with Jacob, as what a Tok'ra host relationship should be, while other Tok'ra like Dalek maintain dominance over their hosts,
Politics.
making them not very
Yeah.
different from the system lords in that respect.
It's
So I thought that was
politics, and
interesting.
it's not so simple. We know that they've. I mean, this is when we really find out that they've been taking stuff from Selmak, because Selmak has been influenced by Jacob considerably.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes,
is Selmak talking here?
he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, he is.
So
But he's basically saying that, Jacob Carter has had no more influence on me than any other host, but I think
Yeah.
that's a lie.
I think the
think
difference with
Selmak
Jacob
is
is that
lying
Jacob
to
has a kid.
himself.
He has like investment in
Family?
Earth and
Maybe.
humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because most of the Tok'ra hosts don't really have family; they just have each other.
and
I think the fact that he's from a military background as well might
Yep.
offer more insight than your average host.
I'm gonna have to say for Delic, I don't think that he and the Tok'ra High Council are completely wrong.
I
When
don't.
they
no, I agree. Yeah.
suspect they suspect that Jacob's allegiances are divided, and
They are
think
so right.
that
yeah.
if Jacob and
Yeah.
Selmak if Selmak were supposed to choose between the Tok'ra and Earth,
Me choose
I
Earth.
bet Selmak would choose Earth.
Sam.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Um,
he doesn't at the end of this episode,
Yeah.
but
Well,
he's
he
going
has
mend
to go.
fences.
He has to go
Yeah.
mend fences.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
he does. And the next time we see
Yeah.
him, that's it.
But
I'm
like
devastated.
Like I guess in that Dalek does make a good point. He says you pass on anything to the humans, and
Yeah.
he literally does. Like after their conversation, he's here speaking.
Yeah,
with
he
them.
doesn't think
He's
he
in,
doesn't give it a
chatting
lick of
crap.
thought, because he trusts his friend, whom he's. I mean, I don't know how far they go back, but it's a while, implicitly.
Yeah.
So Jacob and
yeah.
Selmak are definitely the idealized,
Yes.
the living proof that a Tok'ra Tauri alliance can be pretty amazing. But both outside forces, the Tok'ra and the Tauri, don't necessarily think that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's another reason why I like this episode. I love this conflict. It's that whole thing that I kind of liked about Fallout as well. It's the umming and ahhing about the host and the symbiote relationships, and that how connected they are, and what is affected within them based on what they're doing and how they're existing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like the Tok'ra, yeah, it's quite sad because I feel like Jacob's very alone in his situation because the Tok'ra don't entirely see him as one of their own right now. You know, they're kind of treating
Yeah,
him
he's
more
not
like an outsider.
he's not really truly
When
accepted by either the
Yeah.
Tok'ra or
Yeah,
the
or
humans, you know?
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, when he's speaking on behalf of the Tok'ra High Council, he's not doing that completely. So,
Yeah.
you know, he can't.
This is reused footage from the first ones. And the accuracy of the Cull Warriors shooting is kind of interesting because he easily
They usually
shoots
have
down a
stormtrooper aim.
flying UAV, but
Yep.
repeatedly misses Sam at
Yeah.
close range.
Yeah, I know. It's awfully convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Stormtrooper aim when
Accuracy,
stormtroopers are shooting at leads.
Yep.
I'm assuming that the Cull Warrior micro staff blasts were not from the first ones.
No.
No, I don't think so.
I know they weren't. There were no such thing
No.
at the first ones. But the opening shot, yes.
Yeah.
The opening shot was, yeah.
Get back in here.
He is a very tall man.
I know. I love this conversation. I'm very excited.
Let's
It's,
mend
Yeah,
some
it's
let's
an
have
fences.
a moment.
honest conversation, but you can tell that they both respect the other.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just one leader speaking to another.
Yeah,
Jacob's
yeah,
got
exactly.
a lot on his shoulders today. Stuart
really
Miller said she
does.
got that plot armor to Sam.
That's it.
She does.
That plot armor's pretty strong stuff.
Tritonin!
He knows about Tritonin.
Yeah.
Jed Ted, Carter versus the Cull Warrior feels like Kirk versus Gorn. There is a little bit of that, yeah. But there's not going to be a
Egeria.
Metrone interceding at the end. Yeah.
This is again why I would have really liked, you know, more exploration of Gould being turned to the other side. It's only happened a couple times, and one was a failed attempt, and the other time they died before we could have fun in Fallout. So, absolute shame we don't get to see more. Damn right.
I think Selmac's a good negotiator.
I love
mean, he
Selmac.
fails, but
He tries.
Yeah.
he does try.
I feel like if Selmac was in a pickle and he texted the Jafar and said, "Oi, I like need a lift or something, I need some help," they'd come to save his ass really fast. You know, so I think that at least he's got that in the bag. His relationship's great with the Jafar, so
Yeah, I mean, it's not like they just won't be working kind of like side by side on operations.
Yeah.
They don't
which is a shame because that's what they need,
hate
you
each
know,
other.
because they're going to accidentally like wipe each other's forces out. Like the Tok'ra secret agents are going to get offed left, right, and center.
So there's a bit of a continuity error. So
Goofgate.
when the UAV was
Hit,
shot down
yeah.
earlier, we saw its right wing get blown off. But now that Sam's found the wreckage, the right wing is actually still attached.
Dear, oh dear.
And the James Robbins, the art director, actually designed these small missiles that we see on the UAV. So cool detail. They were actually specifically created for this episode so that Sam could salvage them from the crashed drone
Wow,
and
okay.
MacGyver a way to fight
course.
back against the
course.
super soldier.
I love that she's going to do something with that mass of wires and circuit board.
She knows
Maybe
what she's doing.
the goof isn't like completely, you know, everyone's fault. As in, look at this shot. It's got Sam with the plane here, like upside down. So maybe when people were doing like the edits afterwards and the special effects, they accidentally saw that shot and went, "Oh yes, it's that wing that's
Yeah, it
blown
went
off."
the wrong way. Yeah,
I mean it's not vitally important. Like I did
No,
go
no,
back
but
and
I'm
take
just
a screenshot of the
it's interesting.
of it getting shot down, but yeah, it
It's
doesn't
interesting
really matter.
to see the behind, try and figure out like how the mistake could have happened, and like that's a pretty good excuse. You know, like I can easily see myself making that kind of mistake if I was in that position.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't affect the story, so
Nah.
it's not really that important.
This is good stuff. I mean, this is like,
Yeah.
you feel for everyone at this table. And it's like, what are you going to do? You know, the problem is that the goals of the different parties are not in perfect alignment. And where you've got the
No.
overlap, you're eventually going to have a fatal separation of these powers.
I think when I realized this episode was one of the ones I loved the most about season 7 was when I stopped baking to watch this scene. Because it was the first time I think I'd ever like truly really really appreciated how fantastic season 7 was. I'd never properly gone
Yeah.
through it, and I remember just sitting there just being absolutely astonished with how good this episode's like political scenes are. So
And it does, his comment about Egeria, it does
Yeah.
suggest with what we know about you,
Yep.
that the Toker will eventually just all die from old age.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
immortal.
No, they're not.
No, and that's the thing. It's kind of reminds me of like the Asgard, you know, they're all going to die at some point, and it's just really sad to
Yeah.
see all our allies just getting picked off.
Yeah.
So,
Stormtrooper aim.
yeah. So, Nerdgate Hobbit again online said that while we don't often see Sam needing rescue, even here she's essentially orchestrating her own salvation. Like by repurposing the UAV missile, she not only weakens the Cull Warrior, but also creates the signal that leads Jack and
Yep.
Tilk to her location.
That was a big
And
boom.
plus, she designed the very weapon that Jack uses to finish the job.
Yeah.
So as they note, it's like a nice role reversal considering how many times she saved her teammates throughout the series.
Lockwatcher, I hear a lawnmower and a barking
I was
dog
about to say
outside
that.
the house. Can
Yeah.
David do anything about it? I hope that's in jest.
I
right.
was about to read that out. It's hilarious. That made me laugh a lot.
Now, Dan Payne, you want to share the story about this, Evie?
Dan Payne.
Do you not know the story? Okay,
I
so
don't
Dan
have a
Payne
story
had to
about that.
hold his breath for about a minute before coming out of that,
Oh, wow.
and he almost passed out. So
Yes.
he couldn't hear action, so
Yeah.
he was just kind of like, I'm going to go for it, and he came out at the right time and went through the whole sequence.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah,
So, you know, oxygen deprived, but
yeah,
he
he was
still kicked
oxygen
some
deprived.
butt.
Yeah.
What a bro.
Yeah.
What
See,
a
look, that's
cool
why it's got
shot.
Stormtrooper aim. That's why it's oxygen deprived.
So I was gonna go through. I've actually got quite a few points about this famous comfort scene that's coming up.
Oh, I'm obsessed
which
with
is
it.
my favorite of the whole.
I love the
episode,
behind the
but
scenes where
that
they
aside.
kiss.
So yeah, so the famous scene coming up where Sam rests against Jack did cause some behind the scenes debate. So Amanda Tapping wasn't initially comfortable with it because she worried it made Sam seem weak after surviving so much on her own.
She
And she
needs a
tells
hug.
Peter DeLuise that Daniel or Tilk wouldn't lean on Jack that way, but he actually said that it was like a natural soldier's response after extreme stress. And Peter was pretty adamant, like basically saying that Sam had been through hell and deserved a moment of comfort. So Amanda eventually approached her from the angle of pure relief at being alive and reunited with the people she thought she might never see again.
Yep.
Yeah.
And critics and fans interpreted this moment in lots of different ways. Some saw it as a rare emotional vulnerability for Sam, and others saw it as a display of deep comradeship
Yeah.
forged through shared trauma. And of course, shippers had their own take.
Oh, I'm sure they
and-
did.
I have a combination
me
opinion.
included.
Yeah.
And James Hoare from The Companion sees the scene not as shipping fodder, but as authentic military camaraderie. So a bond only those who've shared battlefield trauma understands.
I
And he
mean,
noted
yeah.
that Sam only collapses once the threat is gone, sort of showcasing how military training keeps survival instincts engaged until the danger passes. So it's when she can finally sort of power down and that
Yeah.
emotion catches up with her.
You'd be
I mean, I just
surprised how
think,
much you can run
know,
on adrenaline.
Yeah,
I
she
know.
just
But when
it's
needs
gone,
a minute.
This is a
She's
great,
safe
great
now.
shot.
Yeah, I love it. I love
this
the way she
too.
stands. How long is he gonna stand there though, like that?
As
It's
long as
funny,
it takes.
We say that like, you know, the hugging and stuff's a bit weird, but like you know, when Daniel's going absolutely off on one in need, you know, he goes a bit mental.
That's true.
And
He
then Jack gives him a big
Jack gives him a hug. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So I just think that sometimes you just need that moment of relief where you can feel safe for a second, you know, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so Nicole, I've got an answer to your question from earlier.
Oh my god, yes. Let's go.
So Peter DeLuise actually had a very clever storytelling strategy with this alliance breakup. So
Okay.
he deliberately wanted to isolate Earth before the big season finale showdown with Anubis. So
Fair.
by removing their powerful allies, Earth would seem way more vulnerable when the attack came, which raised the dramatic stakes.
It's season
That's
5
really good.
all over again.
Yeah,
they're
that's
knocking
good.
everyone off. So
Yeah.
you can't kill all the Tok'ra in their Tok'ra caves this time. So we're going to just remove
It's
them
just a
from the
shame
negotiating table.
that they just didn't bring them back in full force in the following seasons anymore.
Right.
It's like that they were like, SG1's made it too far now, you know, like they end up having Atlantis and they've got all their warships, so it's like we kind of don't need everyone else. Is kind of how it felt after this
Yeah, I
season.
know. I guess they're just sort of they're evolving and they're not moving past their former alliances, but they're developing, you know.
Yeah.
So a person on Reddit noted something that I completely agree with. So Don S. Davis really shines in this episode. Like
Yes.
Yeah.
Shannon excels in these kinds of diplomatic scenarios, like balancing compassion for his personnel with firm leadership during a crisis. And he really brought some gravitas and warmth to the character.
Hey,
Also, where's
we're
Doc
back.
Fraser?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
where has she
In these
been? She's about to
infirmary
get killed off.
scenes.
Where is she?
I know. Yeah.
I know.
Such bull.
I think the last time we saw her was Lifeboat, isn't it?
Yeah.
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 Oh God, that's ages
Yeah,
ago. I think it just
exactly.
feels like ages ago as well because we've really stretched out this season.
Yeah.
That's
Season
true,
7's
too.
been really stretched
So
out.
this sucks because she's just gotten back and she's like, oh yeah, I lived.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, oh yeah, got to peace out now. Everything went really bad while you weren't here.
Exactly.
No cake today. Not like Grace.
No cake. Just a
Yeah.
big slice of see you later.
Yep. Way later.
Oh. Yeah.
You can actually see the blood on her pillow, which I think is quite real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
That's
sense.
cool.
Yeah.
They didn't do a very good job dressing that wound.
I would have thought they'd cover it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Don't have to put the pillow through decontamination.
Exactly.
Oh. What a
When I
So,
come
beautiful
back,
dynamic.
Selmac will have been passed out for weeks.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, say goodbye to Selmac. So, Death Knell apparently premiered in the UK before it actually hit the
Excuse me.
US
Yep, Sky
as
One.
Sci-Fi's highest rated show that week, and the
Nice.
Canadians had to wait until December of
Yep.
Oh my-
2004.
Yep. Unless you had these
It-
things
it aired
called
in January.
torrents.
Ah.
Yeah.
So critics were actually generally split. TV Zone and Starburst gave low marks, only 5 out of 10 and 2 out of 5. And Starburst dismissed it as a budget-saving episode, which I don't really
Wow.
agree with.
What?
I don't
They
agree
were
with that at
outside.
all.
SFX criticized the pacing but praised the acting. And the Companion and Gate World kind of had more positive reviews. Ali Snow from Gate
The real
World
Stargate
highlighted
fans.
the balance of the political drama and action.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's Death Knell, everybody. We really appreciate you joining us.